Finally, Arrma have come up with a metal alternative to the crappy differentials that strip instantly.
Finally, we've got an alternative to the crappy plastic diffs that wear instantly in the 3s and 4s cars. Hear this? Metal. That's a nice sound to hear. I'm wondering whether it's going to make the car like 3 times louder now. I hope it doesn't. But even then, as long as it replaces me having to replace the differential every single month, that'll definitely pay off. So, if you're just watching this to see how it fits together, basically you get the crown gear, and you have this piece here. You want to make sure that it's that side of it instead of this side of it. It's fairly obvious, the side with the sticky out bit simply just slots in there. And then you just want to twist it until it fits, like it should just kind of pop in. There we go. Now it's in there, you're left with this. And then this the diff case just fits over it. There we go. And then once it's on, it's really snug. There's absolutely zero wobble with any of the pieces here. And then in the kit that comes with a composite diff case, also comes 4 screws. So of course, once you put all the cogs in there, just put screws on, and then it should be fine to go in your car. There's no other parts needed besides the metal 13 tooth input gear to fit onto the 37 tooth crown gear. So that was just a quick overview of these parts. I'm now going to get into the tutorial on how to remove the differential, take all the cogs out, put the new cogs in, and fit this back in. Hopefully I can help some people in this video because it is a newly released part, and I did have a few queries on this. For example, I was wondering whether I need to get different drive shafts or how it would all fit together, and whether there are any other parts I needed. Because for example, you can't just get the crown gear, you have to also get the composite diff case. So I was wondering whether there are any more exceptions like that. For this video, I'm just going to be doing the rear diff because that's the only one that I'm going to be replacing. First thing you've got to do is you've got to remove some of the screws on here. So you've got to remove these 2 screws and then this screw here. So you go ahead and do that now. Luckily, I've got this, which is incredibly helpful, for it speeds up the process a lot. There we go. So once you remove these 2 long screws, you just need to remove the short one. So these are the 2 long screws you should have removed. So now those are 2 screws in those holes. Move this one here. So that just looks like this screw. And then this bit here should hopefully just kind of pull and lift off. Fabulous. Once you've done that, there's also the final screw here that needs to be taken off. And you've basically got full access. You can't see it because there's mud here, but you should be able to see there's a screw here. Okay, great. So once you've removed the 2 screws on the back here, it's important that you remove the motor mount and this drive shaft as well. That's fairly easy. So first you just want to unscrew this screw. That will be able to release a little rod that you have to push in there. So once you push that rod, then this should just pull off. You're not going to remove the drive shaft completely, and just for the time being, I'm going to remove this drive shaft here. So it just pushes down and slides off. I mean, it's pretty simple, nothing complicated yet. And then to remove it, the motor mount, you've got to just take this screw off here. So underneath the red bit, just got to remove that screw. That's very important. Fabulous. And then you're left with a screw about this thick, about this size. It's quite small. You want to keep your screws all organised, and then the red bit should just pull off like so. It's a bit fiddly, a bit hard to do, but hopefully I should be able to do it. Okay, so now just removed the red plastic bit. There we go. So now that bit's come out, the motor mount should just be able to be pulled out. All you have to do now is that tab up here. It just needs lifting up. Personally, I find it easier if I use leverage. There we go. And then you just gotta pull that down with a lot of force. So I'm gonna end the video. Fab. So now I've done that. This should just, there we go, just with a bit of force, left and right. Should just be left with this. That's a nice noise. Yeah, you should just be left with your differential. Yours might not be the same colour as mine because I've put my own diff fluid in there. Diff lube, diff oil. No, diff something. So now once you're here, what you want to do is you want to get a Allen key, 2mm, down into this hole, and then there's a screw in there that you have to undo. So I'm going to get my handheld 2mm Allen key and just fit it into this hole. There's a screw, and now I've got into that screw. Oh, I've got to get my hands so muddy and mucky. You just simply want to unscrew these screws, and you screw in there, and there's also a screw in here you want to unscrew. So you just removed the differential. There are plenty of other YouTube videos out there that'll show you how to do this, so I've not really bothered with the removal of this. So once you get to this point, you just kind of want to remove these two screws. There we go. Now these yokes should just come off. Fabulous. Now this is the 13-tooth input gear. It's plastic, and you're replacing it with a metal one. All you want to do is you want to take those bearings and put them onto the metal one, and you want to be opening up this big differential here. You want to be opening up the differential, checking your bearings and stuff, because why not? You've gotten this far, so you just want to open this up and then get all the cogs out. And then that's the third screw right there. Great, so now all these screws are removed. You want to keep them organised, you want to know where they are. This top bit should just come off. There we go. So now I've just managed to pry that off. You want to remember that there are the O-rings in there. You don't want to lose them. So when you remove this cog here. Okay, so there's this metal shim that you want to remember is there. Personally, it's fine if you just, I'm going to leave it on here like that so I don't forget about it. And then there are also the O-rings just hidden in there. I'm going to go ahead and pop this straight into my composite diff case. Getting it all mucky, it doesn't feel right. So that was in the lid of the diff case here. So you're just going to do the same thing in the lid of this diff case. There we go, that simply fits on there like that. That looks about right. And actually, just because why not, you might as well just fit that on there. Great, so now I've got it in here. As you can see, that just simply needs to go over the top. But of course you want to remove all the cogs from here. I'm doing it on this plastic sheet so I can wipe it all down afterwards, because that will probably be necessary. What you can do is you want to just remove pins from within here. So, with this as well, you don't want to forget the little metal shim underneath. So just to make it clear, I'm going to try and point it towards the camera. So, you've removed this. As you can see in there, there's that metal shim. you want to remove that metal shim. You want to put it on here. There we go. And then, of course, you don't want to forget the O-ring. So in the bottom, there's a little rubber ring that just helps keep all of the diff fluid safe in there. So I'm going to go ahead and just straight away put the O-ring in the bottom of the composite diff case. There we go. So now you want to put that cog in there with the shim on it. There we go. So now it's in there. You see that just kind of twists nicely. So now you want to start putting it all together. That now looks like this. And then you just want to get these cogs and you just put them on top like that. And then like that. It looks incredibly complicated, especially if it's your first time opening these up. But it's quite easy to remember. After you've done it the first time, it's you'll be fine. There we go, so now you've got all that. There we go, perfect. As you can see, I'll spin this, and then that turns the other way. You know you've done it right if it does that. It might not be the smoothest. It's not the smoothest for me, but it seems to be alright anyway. So, now, it's going to get pretty messy, because you'll want to get some diff fluid. I'm using 80,000 for my Kraton 4s. It's your choice as to what you want. I believe the stock is about 50 to 60,000. It's around that mark. I like this because it's just a bit thicker. Okay, I've let this sit for about an hour now. All the bubbles have come up. I mean, of course there's a few, but not too bothered about them. It's only a basher after all. So, when you put this on, just be prepared for quite a bit of diff fluid to overflow, because of course that displaces it. You should basically be ready to go. But before you do that, there's a little ring that's supposed to go around the top of there, and then you fasten it on. I've lost mine accidentally, so I'll come up with an alternative, or maybe not put anything on at all. So those little hook bits, you need to make sure that it goes in the right place. And you can see a lot of the diff fluid has overflown and come out the top. I probably put way too much in there. So, now hopefully if I spin this, there we go, you can see that one turns the other way. Okay, so I've just rebuilt this diff. It's feeling already a lot heavier, which is quite nice. And as you can see, spin this side. My hands are all greasy and sticky, so I'm having to use pliers. That spins really nicely. That's pretty cool. That spins that way and the other spins the other way. So, now once you've done that, you want to get your old differential, you want to remove the bearings, and you want to put them on either side of the diff. Which bearing goes on which side, I don't think matters. Okay, great. So now you've got a differential like this. The bearing that was on there is now in there because I've accidentally slipped it in there. So basically you want to get started with the teeth, and the yolks that looks like this, well, one half of the yolks that look like this, and you just want to put them in this way. Push, there we go, fab. That's in there now, that's got smooth. And then you just want to get the other, the input gear, the metal one. The metal one's got two bearings on it now, because I've removed the bearings from here, and I've popped them onto here. And then that simply fits on here, like that. And then, get the other yoke, slam it on top, push down, nice, and as you can see, that's pretty smooth. The reason there's noise is because I accidentally get lots of sand and mud in there, but hope that just kind of breaks down to parts so small that it doesn't affect anything. So then you just want to put a screw in here. A tad more like symmetrical. Okay, great. You just want to make sure they're fairly tight. You don't want to do it super tight though, just enough so that there is no open gaps between these. Great, so now you've done that. That's your differential basically complete. There we go. Now you've got differential. All you want to do is you want to pop it in the bit that we've opened up earlier. So just in here, you want to make sure it's the right way around. So there we go, that's fit. And then you simply want to close it over the top of it, like so. And then I've already put those 2 screws in. But the 2 screws in here, simply just there you go. So now that's basically differential done. All you've got to do now is you're going to get the other screw in. So the other screws in here and here. First, of course, you want to put this down though. You want to put that down and then get the other screw in there and then the other screw on top there. And then all you've got to do is you've got to take your motor. You're just going to slide it on over onto there. And then get your red piece, clip it back on, tighten the screw in here, the screw in there, and then plug it all in, all the right wires, and then you just put your drive shaft back over. I mean, it's all, from this point onwards, it's pretty self-explanatory, so I'm not really going to bother continuing with the tutorial on how to do that. Thanks guys for watching. Hopefully I've helped you. It's been a long, very boring video, to be honest. I mean, I just hope that it helps you get your car up and running again, and helps you upgrade it, because the fun bit isn't the video, it's going out and driving it knowing that you've changed the differential. And so, if you have any questions, just ask in the comments. I should hopefully try and answer them as soon as possible. And I guess I'll see you. Bye. The next video will be putting on these GPM drive shafts.